Chapter 11. The only virtual world game. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Li Qinan then looked at the live broadcast. He was suffering from a terminal illness, and this was his chance. However, were there any requirements for learning the genetic evolution methods? It's probably not a surprise to you that mastering the genetic evolution methods is difficult. Just a single mistake can bring harm to the body. The volunteers practiced with the VR headsets. Secretary General Angus smiled. Now, I will announce the joint decision made by the Earth Alliance. All humans on Earth will receive a VR headset for free as long as they are 6 years old. In the virtual world, all humans can choose any of the 10 evolution methods. This announcement excited Li Qinan, Yang Qingxua, and the others. The entire world boiled over with countless people cheering. A young child with a terminal illness can obtain the VR headset via application even if they are less than 6 years old, Secretary General Angus said. In order to let you practice the evolutionary methods in the VR headset, we've created a virtual world game. The difficulty of creating a virtual world game is much greater than creating a city to accommodate hundreds of millions of people. Combined with the knowledge gleaned from the civilization on Mars, we created this game called Life Evolution. Life Evolution will not only facilitate the mastering of the genetic evolution methods, but it can also collect data on your physical evolution in .game. The evolution data of hundreds of millions of people will be gathered and summarized. I believe that someday in the future, humans will create a better evolutionary method, allowing us humans to become stronger and have a longer lifespan, Secretary General Angus said. Moreover, we can also study and do scientific research in the personal spaces of the game world. I believe that as long as we humans collectively work together, we will definitely become stronger and go further in this vast cosmos. Technology will change humanity. From today onward, we humans have ushered in a new era. Secretary General Angus said proudly. All countries will complete the distribution of the VR headsets in 3 days. Meanwhile, the game Life Evolution will officially launch at 9 p.m. on July 25, Beijing time. The last sentence was translated differently depending on the country. In Japan, it was, will officially launch at 10 p.m. on July 25, Tokyo time. In India, it was, will officially launch at 6:30 p.m. on July 25, New Delhi time. In the United States of America, it was, will officially launch at 8 a.m. on July 25, Washington, D.C. time. In the EU, it was, will officially launch at 1 p.m. on July 25, London time. Everyone around the world was excited. In Su Jingming's house in Mingyue City, Jiangnan Province. The announcement about the distribution of the VR headsets across the country has been made, Li Miao said immediately. Grandpa Su was also checking his screen. He smiled and said, the information was released the moment the press conference ended. That's pretty efficient. Su Jingming also checked out the information. Detailed arrangements were made all over the country, likewise for Mingyue City. The locations to collect the virtual headsets in each county and district had been announced. Collection of the headsets begin at 1 p.m. tomorrow. There are 12 collection spots in our West District, Su Jingming said after he finished reading the bulletin. Let's submit the application now. Let's choose the nearest collection center, the sports hall. We'll choose the same time. The entire family present submitted their applications and quickly confirmed their collection point, the sports hall. At 5 p.m. on July 22, at the sports hall in Mingyue City's West District, Su Jingming and his family were waiting in line. Because every family had a stipulated time slot, it reached their turn after being in line for 3 minutes. The VR headset. Su Jingming carried the box he had received, feeling curious and expectant. This was a new item. Although humans had some ideas about it, he had the actual object in his hands. Nearly 100% virtualization. It sounded incredible. Let's go home. Su Jingming, Mr. and Mrs. Su, Grandpa Su, Li Miao, and her parents left together. Hundreds of people entered the sports hall one after another with 2 lines for entry and 1 for exit. The people who left each carried a box happily. Meanwhile, all over China and even all over the world, people of all colors received their VR headsets. Amidst everyone's anticipation, it was finally 9 p.m. on July 25th. Sure, it's time. Best of luck. Su Jingming remained in contact with his friend by video call. I never expected to have a chance for my hand to grow again. Yang Qingshua's eyes were filled with vigor. We'll meet in that game. He hung up. Su Jingming walked into the bedroom, and Li Miaomiao video called her 2 female assistants. Everyone, all the best. Life Evolution is a game that almost all humans on Earth will be playing. Its popularity will far exceed all the games in history. This virtual game will be our studio's battlefield in the future. Yes, boss, Sister Kong and Xiaozeng replied in unison. Let's begin the battle. Li Miaomiao clenched her fists, and so did her 2 female assistants. Only then did the former hang up. Su Jingming couldn't help but laugh when he saw this. What are you laughing at? Li Miaomiao shot a glance at her boyfriend and hugged the red VR headset in her arms. The technology level of this VR headset is extremely high. Even if it's mass-produced, it should cost at least 10,000 apiece. To distribute it for free to the entire world. Just the cost is astonishing if you think about it. Su Jingming nodded. It's surprising how there was no information leak before the press conference considering the magnitude of this matter. Moreover, a lot of money was spent on this, something that is a boon for all of humanity. Not only does it allow all humans to evolve, but it has also doubled our lifespans. It also allows people to make use of their sleeping time at night. The time that people have at their disposal has actually increased by 4 times. Not only that, Li Miaomiao said. They have created an unprecedented game. 7 billion people worldwide can receive a VR headset at the age of 6. Who won't log in after receiving it? Not logging into the VR headset is akin to losing the chance of living life 4 times longer, Su Jingming said. Therefore, almost everyone in the world will be a gamer of this game. Li Miaomiao was extremely excited as she lay down. Let's chat later. Let's quickly log in. I can't wait to take a look at the 100% virtual world. I wonder what's in this game world. Su Jingming lay on the bed and picked up the silver-gray headset on the bedside table. Let's begin. Virtual world. Li Miaomiao looked forward to it. Lying on the same bed, Su Jingming and Li Miaomiao looked at each other and put on their VR headsets. At this moment, countless people around the world donned their VR headsets and entered the virtual world. Su Jingming first felt metal pieces stick to his scalp from the headset. His scalp then turned slightly numb, and he felt his consciousness rapidly sink. Boom! Su Jingming, welcome to the world of life evolution. Chapter 12. First entry. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Su Jingming looked around in shock. This was an illusory space with only a cyan-shirt man there. He smiled and said, I'm your game guide. I will disappear after you learn all the functions available. Game guide. Su Jingming looked at the man and couldn't help but touch himself. His muscles were tight, and the scars he had from practicing his punching were there. He also kicked his legs. This is identical to my physical body in reality, even my leg injury is replicated. The VR headset scans your physical body to ensure 100% virtualization, the cyan-shirt man said with a smile. Don't doubt the VR headset's technology. Su Jingming was secretly surprised. Medical scans these days can indeed detect everything without missing anything. The scans can reach the cellular level, but those are all expensive machines. Is the technology behind the VR headsets that's in the hands of everyone that amazing? Right, the Earth Alliance took a long time to develop the VR headset technology. Hello, Su Jingming. In the world of life evolution, your game nickname is automatically locked onto Su Jingming, the cyan-shirt man said. Are only real names allowed? Su Jingming was surprised. Yes. The cyan-shirt man nodded. This virtual game world is divided into three main spaces. Personal space, mission space, and combat space. The mission space is temporarily not open. All you can use are personal space and combat space. Personal space and combat space. Su Jingming was intrigued. Please choose the location of your personal space. The cyan-shirt man waved his hand, and a huge map appeared beside him. This world is 3,600 times the size of Earth. You can choose any spot that has no owner, a red label means that it has an owner. Su Jingming examined the map and pinched with both hands to rapidly zoom into the map. What an expansive game world. Su Jingming quickly selected a scenic snowy mountain peak with an ice lake at the top. Confirm. Personal space, locked. The cyan-shirt man nodded. You will appear in your personal space every time you log in. Whoosh. The surroundings turned into a blur as the cyan-shirt man rapidly plummeted with Su Jingming into the vast world below. In the vast game world, countless meteors fell, they were the countless players on Earth. A wooden hut appeared beside an ice lake on the mountaintop. Su Jingming and the cyan-shirt man appeared beside it. The wooden hut is where you live. The cyan-shirt man pointed at the wooden hut. Everything within 100 meters of the wooden hut is your territory. Nobody is able to enter a 100-meter radius of the wooden hut without your permission. Su Jingming immediately saw wooden houses land on the other side of the ice lake, accompanied by a female player and a red-robed woman. Swoosh. 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 In the blink of an eye, 5 wooden houses appeared around the ice lake. However, they could barely see one another since they were at least 200 to 300 meters away from each other. It's quite cold at the top of a snow-capped mountain. Even the temperature virtualization feels so real. Su Jingming immediately pushed open the wooden hut's door and walked in. He felt much better after closing the door. Looking at the ice lake through the window, Su Jingming couldn't help but sigh with emotion. The environment is so beautiful. How incredible it is to have 100% virtualization. It's not easy to build a house in such a beautiful environment in reality, but this wooden hut is quite small. You can choose to buy a bigger residence. Open your personal interface to make the purchase, the cyan-shirt man instructed. Su Jingming came to a realization. He perused the detailed introduction on his interface. So long as I spend money, my residence can become larger. 100, 1,000, 10,000. The maximum is 10 million. I can buy a residence in the clouds with 10 million. Su Jingming was surprised. To possess an immortal estate atop the clouds that overlooked the land was probably only something wealthy people could afford. I'll buy the 10,000 one. Su Jingming tapped lightly, and the wooden hut he was in immediately changed into an oriental-styled house that occupied more than 1,000 square meters. The yard was also about 2,000 to 3,000 square meters, and the area 100 meters beyond the yard perimeter was Su Jingming's territory. Li Miao Miao is contacting you. Su Jingming received a notification. Miao Miao. Su Jingming picked up the call. Jingming, this game world is so realistic. Try inviting me. I should be able to appear directly at your place, Li Miao Miao said excitedly. The cyan-shirt man also introduced, everyone on your contact list, social media, and bank transfer list is temporarily added to your friends list. You can contact them directly. They can only visit if they accept your invitation. Of course, they don't need your permission to leave. They can instantly return to their personal space. Su Jingming looked at his friends list. I didn't know I knew so many people. This is that lady selling fruits at the entrance of my estate, right? Su Jingming tried inviting his father, mother, grandfather, Li Miao Miao, and his girlfriend's parents. Soon, figures appeared one after another outside the courtyard. Jingming invited us. The scenery here isn't bad, it's just a little cold. Grandpa Su, Mr. and Mrs. Su, Mr. and Mrs. Li, and Li Miao Miao trembled as they appeared at the courtyard door. Su Jingming immediately went to open the door. Jingming, how did you get such a big house? Su Hong kicked his feet and walked in. My place is a small wooden hut. It costs money. Grandpa Su changed his clothes to a down jacket. There are many functions on the personal interface. I took a look and was figuring out the functions. You can buy clothes, houses, and many other items. There's also a platform for spectators and the martial arts arena. Dad, you sure know how to play, Su Hong said with a smile. There are so many functions. Mr. and Mrs. Li were surprised. You have to go to the martial arts arena to learn the evolutionary method. Grandpa Su was very proficient. After you finish learning it, your body will evolve, and you can enter the combat space. You can engage in all kinds of combat. Humans who have undergone deeper evolution and those with stronger combat techniques will have an advantage in combat. The Earth Alliance probably wants to collect data on the changes in our bodies after our evolution and make preparations for the development of a new evolutionary method. However, I'm already very satisfied to be able to live to the age of 160. I never expected to encounter such a great opportunity at my age. This is the advantage of living long, I managed to live to see this day. What's the spectator platform? Li Miao Miao tapped open the panel to take a look. A player can choose to broadcast their practice and combat sessions in a live broadcast. Grandpa, you're amazing. The game world has just launched, yet you already know so much. Back when I was in mobile gaming, I received a finals MVP title at the age of 18. After I retired, I was a gaming broadcaster for so many years. I can guess the things games can cook up with my eyes closed. Grandpa Su smiled. But this gaming world is really impressive. There are many things you can do in your personal space. I can drink tea and chat with someone else who is on the other side of the world. I can also work and study. Schools can hold their classes here. As a form of social media, it has completely crushed any original form of social media. Yeah, video chat apps can't compare to this game world either. Li Chenin nodded. You can even do a live broadcast. Almost all the live.stream platforms in the past are finished, they have to pivot to something immediately. Grandpa Su sighed with emotion. I've lived for so many years and have seen technology change society time and time again, but this change is unprecedented. Li Chenin smiled and said, Grandpa Su, the Earth Alliance must have prepared many contingency plans since they have done so. Ordinary people like us don't have to think too much about it. At least, for ordinary people like us, this is an unprecedented opportunity. Let's hurry up and practice the evolution method, Su Hong said with a smile. Many people have probably started practicing. Yes, let's get started. Grandpa Su disappeared into thin air and returned to his personal space. Let's go. They disappeared one after another. I'm leaving. Li Miao Miao was the last to leave as she disappeared and returned to her personal space. Su Jingming opened his personal interface and carefully studied the functions of his personal space. I can read in my personal space. It has all the textbooks included in compulsory education, many supplementary materials, and even some cutting-edge scientific materials. Su Jingming randomly selected a few physics books. He studied physics in university. Books appeared on the bookshelf one after another. This virtual game world isn't just a game. I can convene meetings, meet friends, work, and even study. I can even do scientific research. Su Jingming was surprised. There were many functions. To the martial arts arena. Su Jingming tapped open the martial arts arena and chose to enter. The scene in front of him changed. This was a canyon with verdant mountains and flowing waters. Su Jingming looked around him and found the scenery to be very beautiful. This is the martial arts arena, the cyan-shirt man said. The martial arts arena can assist you in your training, such as genetic evolution and combat techniques. There are also all kinds of sparring partners here. You can set up different strengths for your sparring partners, and you can also freely adjust the martial arts arena's environment. Su Jingming tapped the interface softly, and 10 books immediately floated down. The cover of these books was covered in Chinese characters. Please study the 10 evolutionary methods carefully, the cyan-shirt man said. Su Jingming began to settle down and read. Of the 10 evolutionary methods, 5 were for men, and 5 were for women. Of course, Earth contained all sorts of fantastic phenomena due to its size. Some people were relatively special, evolutionary methods for the opposite sex suited them. Chapter 13. Evolutionary method. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It took Su Jingming half an hour to read all 10 evolutionary methods. In fact, there were very few words. Each evolutionary method was mainly a complicated set of exercises that required virtual teaching. All 10 evolutionary methods were named after animals. The 5 evolutionary methods suitable for men were named Black Tortoise Evolution, Heavenly Python Evolution, Shadow Leopard Evolution, Giant Bear Evolution, and Ferocious Tiger Evolution. One could guess the different tendencies of these 5 evolutionary methods from their names. Every evolutionary method has a compatibility score. Su Jingming was a little surprised. The books labeled the person's compatibility score with the method. Black Tortoise Evolution, 71% compatibility, Heavenly Python Evolution, 98% compatibility, Shadow Leopard Evolution, 82% compatibility, Giant Bear Evolution, 91% compatibility, Ferocious Tiger Evolution, 93% compatibility. As for the 5 female evolutionary methods, his compatibility with them was less than 50%. The compatibility score is a result deduced from your actual body. It can be used as a reference, the cyan-shirt man said. In the end, you have to make a choice after practicing the evolutionary methods. In the game world, you can practice any kind of evolutionary method. Even if you make a lot of mistakes and become weaker or stronger from training, you can reset it to your body in reality, the cyan-shirt man briefed him seriously. However, there's no room for regret once you use it in reality. Once the evolutionary path is determined in reality, you can only stick to it. The same evolutionary path has to be selected in .game. Understood. Su Jingming nodded slightly and asked, these 5 evolutionary methods can treat my leg injury, right? These 5 evolutionary methods can allow you to regenerate lost limbs. You just need to practice for a day or 2 to completely treat this small injury of yours, the cyan-shirt man said. Su Jingming nodded slightly. The evolution of life was truly magical. This was the charm of technology. Then, Su Jingming opened his personal interface and tapped on the virtual tutor for Black Tortoise Evolution. An illusory body appeared in the canyon and started practicing the first genetic evolutionary method, Black Tortoise Evolution, in front of Su Jingming. Su Jingming decided to experiment with them one after another, starting from the ones with lower compatibility. There's a requirement for the speed, strength, and rhythm of each move, and it also needs to be matched with my breathing. Su Jingming found it very difficult the moment he started practicing. As the moves increase in speed, my breathing also gets faster. Su Jingming matched his breathing with the tutor's and felt pain in his heart. He felt his skin burn before finally reaching the halfway mark of the training. Pfft. Su Jingming couldn't help but spew a mouthful of blood. You're already injured, the cyan-shirt man said. This is worse than any training method I've used. Su Jingming held his chest and tapped his personal interface, returning his body to its peak state. In the game world, he didn't have to worry about getting injured because he could recover to his peak state at any time. Training this can affect change in one's genes, eventually leading to a sublimation of life, the cyan.shirt man said. It's not surprising that the difficulty is high. This is why you have to master it in the virtual world. Again. Su Jingming tried again. Over and over again. The entire set of motions went from slow to fast, and his breathing became faster and faster. His heart became like a water pump that was given higher and higher intensity work. For various reasons, Su Jingming failed time and time again. Until the sixth time. Humph. When he finally warmed down, the breath he exhaled from his nose was blood. Colored, it was blood. However, Su Jingming ultimately completed the entire set of movements. Congratulations on achieving basic mastery of Black Tortoise Evolution. You succeeded after 6 tries. How impressive, the cyan.shirt man said. Su Jingming sighed with emotion. He was a world-class martial artist. This meant extreme precision over the control of his body. Even he needed to practice 6 times before reaching basic mastery. If it were an ordinary person, how many times would it take? 100, 300. A combat strength interface has appeared. Su Jingming was surprised to find a subsection below his personal interface, the combat strength interface. Player. Su Jingming Genetic Evolutionary Method. Black Tortoise Evolution, Basic 1%. Less than a day of practice, still has room for improvement, physique. 12. Average value for adult men who haven't learned the evolutionary method is 5, technique. Temporarily none, please proceed with actual combat as soon as possible to determine your skills, basic combat strength. None, please proceed with actual combat as soon as possible, less than a day of practice, still has room for improvement. Su Jingming looked at the line of text. In the game world, you don't have to train hard repeatedly like in reality. As long as you are certain that you will master it, you can upgrade it to the limits of your body, the cyan.shirt man said. Su Jingming tried to click on Upgrade. Practiced Black Tortoise Evolution 3 times a day, with at least a 1-hour long break in between. After 39 days of training, your body underwent a transformation and evolved, reaching a physique index of 39. After 1051 days of training, your body evolved to its limits, and your physique index reached 53. If you want to continue upgrading your body, please raise Black Tortoise Evolution to the intermediate level. With just a simple tap, Su Jingming felt his body transform. His chest and back became much wider and thicker, and he became much stronger. His arms and legs also became thicker, and his every move contained incomparably powerful strength. Su Jingming picked up a pebble in the canyon and flung it. When he did so, he felt as if his entire body had transformed into a piece of industrial machinery. Its gears spun as he flung the pebble. Shoo! Oh.org. The pebble tore through the air, leaving behind a shockwave. It crashed into a distant stone wall and shattered it, leaving Su Jingming somewhat surprised. Su Jingming picked up another pebble and exerted some force with his right hand. The pebble shattered, and the debris gradually fell from the gaps of his fingers. I can become this in reality. Su Jingming whispered. Just as the notification on your combat strength page states, as long as you practice thrice a day, your real body can be raised to this state in 1051 days, the cyan.shirt man said. This is the evolution of humans. Can I choose any weapon or armor in this martial arts arena? Su Jingming examined the many functions of the martial arts arena. He could choose weapons, armor, sparring partners, and battle backgrounds. There were many functions. Nearly all cold weapons in the history of Earth are here, the cyan.shirt man explained. Su Jingming waved his hand, and a spear appeared out of thin air. Heavier, it needs to be a little heavier. The martial arts arena was specially designed to assist in cultivation, and the weight of the weapon could be freely adjusted. He stabbed out with his right hand and the spear tore through the air. Then, Su Jingming held the spear with both hands and took a step forward. His thick left arm held the spear and pushed it forward. The spear turned into a blur and stabbed out more than 10 times, leaving several spear afterimages in the air. It feels weird using the spear. Su Jingming looked at his arm, which was twice as thick as before, and realized that he was much stronger. This body is too clumsy. Reset my body to the physical body in reality. Su Jingming lightly tapped, and his body rapidly changed, returning to his normal state when he first entered the game. He became thin again, and the leg injury returned to his body. The scars also returned. I'll try the next evolutionary method. Su Jingming started the virtual lesson for Shadow Leopard evolution. Now, countless people around the world were seriously studying the evolutionary methods offered. On the training grounds, Su Jingming learned the other 4 evolutionary methods at an astonishing speed. After learning it 5 times, he raised Shadow Leopard evolution to basic mastery. When the training time was raised to 3 years, Su Jingming was much leaner than in reality and was extremely agile. He could finish running 100 meters in 5 seconds. After 3 attempts, he mastered Giant Bear evolution and Ferocious Tiger evolution. Giant Bear evolution had the greatest effect on the body. After raising it to the limits of his body, Su Jingming's height increased to 1.98 meters, and he became extremely strong, akin to a bear on its hind legs. After reaching the limit of the body with Ferocious Tiger evolution, he became a little more muscular while standing at 1.85 meters. You mastered Heavenly Python evolution after just 1 try. As expected of the compatibility score of 98%. The cyan-shirt man sighed with emotion. Su Jingming raised the Heavenly Python evolution training time to 982 days on his personal interface, raising it to the limit of his body. He only increased in height by a centimeter, but his muscles were much tighter and filled with infinite tenacity. His spine was like a huge dragon that could easily direct his physical strength. I'll try using a spear. Su Jingming stood in front of a rock wall, and the spear in his hand moved, leaving behind spear shadows. The spear tip tapped the canyon wall, and in the blink of an eye, he had thrust out more than 30 times. The hole in the wall formed a pentagram. Su Jingming looked at the wall in satisfaction. The virtual world's inference is really impressive. Heavenly Python evolution is indeed the most suitable for me. Of the 5 evolutionary methods, Giant Bear evolution gives the greatest physical strength. Black Tortoise evolution gives the strongest physique. Ferocious Tiger evolution gives well-rounded strength, physique, and agility. Shadow Leopard evolution gives the greatest speed and agility. However, Heavenly Python evolution gives the best physical tenacity and is most suitable for me. I also had the easiest time practicing Heavenly Python evolution. I succeeded in 1 go, and my body's improvement was the most obvious. Su Jingming nodded. When all of these basic mastery evolutionary methods were raised to their limits, only Heavenly Python evolution allowed his physique index to reach 63. Ferocious Tiger evolution reached 60, while the other 3 averaged around 50. If he wanted to cultivate an evolutionary method for women with lower compatibility, his physique index would probably be even lower. As long as I don't start practicing in reality, I can reset myself in the virtual world at any time, Su Jingming thought. I'll temporarily decide on Heavenly Python evolution and practice for a few days. Chapter 14. A True Weapon Battle. You are listening at novelfull.audio. You can slowly explore the martial arts arena's functions, the cyan-shirt man said. I'm going to brief you next about the combat space in the game world. Su Jingming nodded. Life Evolution's world was mainly divided into 3 main components. personal space, mission space, and combat space. Whoosh! The cyan-shirt man waved his hand, and an image appeared in front of him. 5 figures were choosing weapons and armor. The combat space allows 5 people to choose weapons and armor. They will subsequently enter the map and engage in a life-and-death battle with 5 members from the opposing team. One side wins when everyone from the other side is all dead. The cyan-shirt man waved his hand again as he spoke, and the scene turned into an ancient town. It was drizzling in the small town. A total of 10 people were scattered around the town. Swish! An arrow tore through the rain and shot at the enemy. The enemy hiding on the roof sensed the disturbance, but the arrow was so fast that the enemy didn't have the time to react other than turning his head. The arrow pierced through the enemy's head, and the moment it did, the enemy turned ethereal and dispersed, leaving the map. Die! A valiant man ran over to the archer who had shot the arrow while throwing his short spear. He repeatedly threw out one short spear after another. On his back were 2 quivers of short spears. The archer was so frightened that he shot his bow and arrow back as he fled. It was obvious that his aim wasn't accurate at all. In his panic, he failed to touch the other party. Halfway through his escape, he was stabbed in the chest by a short spear. His leather armor was penetrated, and the archer turned ethereal and dispersed. All of you only know how to attack from afar. How boring. A stout 2.1 meter tall man wearing heavy armor that only revealed his head sat in the middle of the town. He held a wine jar and drank as his voice echoed throughout the town. If you have the guts, come fight me. 1.1. You silly bear, I'll fight you. A female swordswoman in red light armor strode out. The scene of metal meets flesh combat, arrows, short spears, axes, spears, swords, made Su Jingming's heart race. Weaponry combat, the most dangerous kind of combat in his first 20 years of life, was the scene in front of him. There are all kinds of safety measures in real-life weaponry combat. How can one fight to their heart's content? Su Jingming was thrilled. This was the most suitable stage for him. The combat space allows 5 teammates to fight the other 5 opponents with weapons, the cyan-shirt man said. You can choose heavy armor, but your movement will be greatly affected. Choosing light soft armor will result in weak defense. You can decide on what suits you best. Long-range attacks, melee attacks, ambushes. The cyan-shirt man smiled and said, because the game has just begun, their combat standards are relatively weak. This battle in front of us is already quite a good fight that was live-streamed, but there are still many problems. When it's 5v5, what's most important is teamwork. Of course, if you are strong enough, you can wipe out all 5 people yourself. That would be impressive. The cyan-shirt man smiled and said, but high-level combat will only be composed by the best experts on Earth. Weaponry combat techniques, combat strategy, and teamwork are all very important. Su Jingming nodded. 5v5, there's no 1v1. Not yet. The cyan-shirt man said, this virtual game's core game mode is to have 5 people team up and fight with cold weapons. Su Jingming understood, but his eyes burned. Every professional gladiator yearned for such a cold weapon brawl the most. Moreover, the best part was that a successful kill in game would only result in the loss of a round. Every player is divided into different levels depending on their strength, the cyan-shirt man said. From weakest to strongest, it's starry sky, silver moon, radiant sun, and finally divine. A starry sky player is a newbie. The basic combat strength threshold for silver moon players is 150. The basic combat strength threshold for radiant sun players is 400. The basic combat strength threshold for divine players is 1000. There are 2 ways to raise your level. The first method is to max out the stars for the prior level and reach the basic combat strength threshold, allowing you to advance. The other method is to attain 120% of the basic combat strength threshold to participate in the preliminaries. After the preliminaries, you can directly attain the new level. For example, a new player's basic combat strength is 480. He can participate in the Radiant Sun preliminaries in his first fight. Once he passes, he will immediately be a Radiant Sun player. There's no need for him to slowly rise up the ranks from Starry Sky, the cyan-shirt man explained. Su Jingming nodded slightly and looked at his personal combat strength interface. Player. Su Jingming Genetic Evolutionary Method. Heavenly Python Evolution, Basic 5%. 982 days of practice. No room for improvement, Physique. 63 Technique. Spearmanship, LV, 271%, Footwork, LV, 211%. Basic Combat Strength. 756, My Spearmanship and Footwork. Su Jingming was a little surprised. When you were practicing your spearmanship at the martial arts arena, the virtual game automatically determined your spearmanship and footwork, the cyan-shirt man explained. How is the basic combat strength of 756 counted? Su Jingming asked. The stronger the body, the higher the physique index. Technique represents all kinds of combat techniques. A strong body coupled with powerful combat techniques determines one's basic combat strength, the cyan-shirt man explained. Su Jingming nodded slightly and looked at spearmanship on the interface. He was confident in his spearmanship. A top 10 spearmanship in the history of the world is only at LV 2, 71%. Spearmanship can only be improved slowly through actual combat training. It's not that easy. On the other hand, I've only practiced Heavenly Python Evolution once. There's still a lot of room for improvement. Su Jingming started practicing again. He repeatedly practiced Heavenly Python Evolution. The game guide, the cyan-shirt man, stood silently to the side. After practicing for some time, Li Miao Miao extends you an invitation. He suddenly received a notification. Su Jingming stopped. He was a little tired from practicing, so he tapped gently and accepted the invitation. Whoosh! Su Jingming appeared on a beach and saw a beautiful building in front of him. Li Miao Miao walked barefoot on the beach and smiled. Jingming, how is this? This island is mine. How much did it cost? Su Jingming asked with a smile. 100,000, Li Miao Miao said. I specially chose a small island, otherwise, it would be even more expensive. It's been 6 hours since we entered the game, so you should have figured out most of the game, right? Have you watched the live broadcasts? Li Miao Miao asked. Not yet, Su Jingming said. He had been seriously practicing Heavenly Python Evolution. As a professional gladiator, it was very normal for him to spend hours practicing his stances and various moves. Heavenly Python Evolution was much more powerful than any stance. It fundamentally changed the muscular and skeletal structure, as well as one's order in life. His lifespan could even be doubled, so he was naturally fervent and focused. You have to watch the live broadcast. Li Miao Miao brought Su Jingming to the viewing platform. A large number of live broadcasts were broadcasted on the viewing platform. The live broadcast is very popular, Li Miao Miao said before tapping open one. An elder sat there and spoke in a composed and confident manner, but there were countless seats below. At this moment, hundreds of people were listening. Su Jingming and Li Miao Miao appeared out of thin air and sat in 2 spots. With a whoosh, some members of the audience would disappear. People would come and go, a very normal sight. The elder sat on the podium and said, human society changes every time there is a technological change. This is also the time when many people can change their fate, and this time, the birth of a virtual world game will change things even more thoroughly than in the past. For example, live broadcasts. In the past, live broadcasts were about watching videos. Now, I'm the one speaking here on stage while everyone is listening from below. We can even interact in close quarters with each other. The martial arts arena allows for any setting. It can be set to a study, a stage, or a concert hall. This will completely revolutionize the live broadcast market and the education market. This is an extremely extensive industry, the elder said. Let's go. Li Miao Miao disappeared into thin air with Su Jingming, while other players entered the live stream. In another live broadcast, Su Jingming and Li Miao Miao appeared out of thin air. They were sitting in empty seats, and hundreds of players were watching a battle. There was snow in front of them. In the snow, 10 people were fighting to the death with cold weapons. We can watch the battle outside the snowy battlefield. We can use magnification and zoom in on the battle scene, Li Miao Miao said. Su Jingming tried the function, and he quickly zoomed in on one of the battle scenes. When he zoomed in close, it was like he was 3 meters away from someone else's fight. Clang! A woman blocked an axe with the shield on her left hand and stabbed the sword in her right hand into her enemy's throat. The enemy turned ethereal and dissipated, leaving the map. How exciting! Su Jingming was surprised. The World Martial Arts Tournament had nothing so thrilling. This is what I call a live broadcast. Li Miao Miao sighed with emotion. Listening to songs will now be like listening to a singer live. When attending class, it's like sitting in a lecture hall and listening to a teacher give a lecture. Watching a fight is akin to being right there and watching up close. Chapter 15. Changing times. You are listening at novelfull.audio. All live streaming platforms are sorely lacking when compared to the live streaming capabilities in the virtual world, Li Miao Miao said. Those live streaming platforms in reality are finished. The Tiger Shark Group is about to decline. Li Miao Miao's eyes were cold. Although she didn't say it out loud, she treated Qing Zihao with extreme hostility. Qing Zihao first used enticement and then coercion. How many people could withstand the pressure from the Tiger Shark Group's Qing family? It literally gave Li Miao Miao nightmares. He even used her uncle to force her parents. That made her even angrier. She loved her parents very much and didn't want them to be implicated. She didn't want them to worry about her. No matter how angry she was, the Tiger Shark Group was a massive juggernaut. Li Miao Miao could only put up with it and give up her live stream account, which she took years to build up a fanbase of millions, for a new platform to completely block the other party. This was the only thing Li Miao Miao could do. She didn't have any concrete evidence, so she didn't dare take revenge. The Tiger Shark Group is about to decline. Su Jingming also understood. The pressure Qing Zihao had brought about during that period was too great. Any man would be furious at Qing Zihao for enticing and coercing their girlfriend. However, he couldn't do anything without evidence. Su Jingming also blocked him under his coercions. Thankfully, Miao Miao had been on his side the entire time. His heart hurt for Miao Miao when he saw how she woke to a start because of nightmares. He hated himself for being powerless. He was eventually forced to leave Binhai City. It appeared like a carefree move, but he did so in quite a sorry state. He was also banned on the internet. He had once thought that he would have to run a center in his hometown and be a coach for the rest of his life. Unless he could make a comeback and become world champion, it was very difficult for him to make a name for himself. However, times had changed, human society had ushered in the virtual world. Qing Zihao's licentious days are over, Li Miao Miao said. She then smiled at her boyfriend. But Jingming, your future is 1,000 times broader than in the past. Your real future is limitless. Oh. Su Jingming thought of something. Think about it. In 2036, humans first landed on Mars. The VR headset should have been discovered on Mars sometime later. Then, the world's first world martial arts tournament was held in 2052. With the full support of all countries and all kinds of media promoting it, it immediately became the world's #1 martial arts tournament, and the appearance fee for some legendary players was over 100 million. Su Jingming nodded. The World Martial Arts Tournament indeed didn't exist a long time ago because of the high risk, but in 2052, many people were puzzled when countries around the world pushed for this tournament. And combat in this virtual world game is done through cold weapons, Li Miaomiao said. Moreover, almost everyone on Earth will be learning it. This explains everything in hindsight. Li Miaomiao said, 30 years ago, countries made preparations for the virtual world game Life Evolution. Nearly 30 years ago, all kinds of combat schools around the world were dug out, and they appeared on the stage again, Li Miaomiao said. I've done some research. Before the World Martial Arts Tournament, weaponry combat was very niche. The traditional martial arts schools in the country, 8 Extremities, Xingyi, Taiji, mainly focused on training the body, they practiced boxing. Weapons had already declined. It was the World Martial Arts Tournament that gave them a new lease of life in the past 30 years. These 30 years were used to nurture the Kindle, and this Kindle would ignite in life evolution, Li Miaomiao said. It will allow everyone on Earth to learn cold weapons combat faster. Su Jingming nodded. Everything became more comprehensible in hindsight. Speaking of which, the countries established the Earth Alliance in 2056, Li Miaomiao said, but the first World Martial Arts Tournament was held in 2052. It is obvious how important martial arts and weaponry combat is for them to push it to the masses before they could form an alliance. I even think that the entire world spent so much effort not just for the game, Li Miaomiao deduced. Or rather, this virtual world game is worth the effort of countries around the world. Su Jingming nodded and gave her a thumbs up. Miao, I think you're right. It's only a guess. Li Miaomiao smiled. Regardless, humans all over the world are playing this game. In that case, martial arts and weaponry combat will have limitless prospects. Jingming, if you can become one of the top 10 globally in this virtual world game, you will be much more dazzling than in the past, Li Miaomiao said. Because this game's popularity is countless times higher than the past competitions. It's also harder, Su Jingming said. 32 people participated in every World Martial Arts Tournament in the past. In the past 30 years, a total of 522 people entered the World Martial Arts Tournament. Including the Division A and B tournaments, there are more than 20,000 professional gladiators registered in the Martial Arts Alliance. There were only about 20,000 people in the past 30 years. Now, there are 7 billion people competing. Every one of them knows the evolutionary method, and every one of them can engage in dozens or even hundreds of life-and-death battles a day. It's much harder to get into the world's top 10 than being the world champion previously, Su Jingming said. Are you confident? Li Miaomiao looked at the man she loved. After they got to know each other on the internet, they first met in reality at a combat center. When she saw Su Jingming practice from afar, she was attracted by how focused he was. Of course. An unprecedented twinkle appeared in Su Jingming's eyes. I already have a first-mover advantage. We're all in the same virtual world game, so how can I not be confident? Furthermore, the more experts there are, the more exciting the world of weaponry combat. More exciting? Li Miaomiao asked. Don't you feel your blood boil from watching weaponry combat? Su Jingming looked at the snow in front of him. Of the 10 people fighting, the last person stood at the back, his entire body covered in blood. He was roaring with laughter as his team had clinched victory. Li Miaomiao came to a realization when she heard this. She thought to herself, perhaps only the passion from the bottom of his heart made Jingming never relax his training even after 3 years of retirement. In today's era, Jingming will definitely shine brighter than ever before. I sure have good taste. The man I chose is the best. With this in mind, Li Miao Miao smiled happily. Why are you smiling? Su Jingming asked. I'm smiling at the thought of you becoming world champion while I'll be first lady of the world champion, Li Miao Miao curled her lips and said. Oh, then I have to work hard. It's not easy to be number one among 7 billion people, Su Jingming said with a smile. At 4 a.m., 7 hours after the virtual world game Life Evolution officially launched. In Penghai City, at the Tiger Shark Group skyscraper. In the elevator. The two brothers, Cheng Zihao and Cheng Zitong, were in a rising elevator. Brother, why do you think Dad summoned us? Cheng Zihao asked softly, his expression filled with unease. He had been urgently summoned from inside the virtual world game. Zihao, Cheng Zitong said softly, you have to understand the situation. After that global live stream press conference, the share price of the corporation, which has been plummeting for more than a month, plummeted once again. Although the group halted its trading immediately, you've gone into the virtual world game after its launch, right? You know what it means, right? Cheng Zihao nodded. There's no way to compare. All the live streaming platforms have been completely crushed by the world of Life Evolution. How are we to compete when the virtualization is 100%? Cheng Zitong shook his head. This isn't something humanly preventable. We can't fight the general trend of the times. Why is Dad looking for us then? Cheng Zihao asked. Dad has been at the office the past few days and hasn't gone downstairs, Cheng Zitong said. Listen more and talk less later. Ding. The elevator stopped at level 153. The elevator door opened to a very large office. Cheng Zitong and Cheng Zihao walked out of the elevator and saw their father, Cheng Liwei, sitting at a desk far away. Cheng Liwei's hair was almost completely white, and he seemed to have aged quite a bit. He was looking down at the documents on the screen. Dad. Cheng Zitong stepped forward, and Cheng Zihao greeted obediently, Dad. Ah, you're here. Cheng Liwei looked up at the two of them. I'm now informing you that the family trust will file for bankruptcy in a few days. Chapter 16. Cheng family, you are listening at novelfull.audio. Bankruptcy. The two brothers were a little stunned. Dad, has it come to this? Cheng Zitong asked. Cheng Zihao said anxiously, Dad, the virtual glasses back then dealt a major blow to many online companies. The Tiger Shark Group suffered the impact, but it eventually became stronger. If the virtual world can't defeat us, this will give us an opportunity to infiltrate the virtual world. There's no chance. The aged Cheng Liwei shook his head gently. It's different from the virtual glasses last time. Back then, the tech first appeared before it was licensed to many companies. There was a period when nothing was happening, so we could make preparations. But this time, the Earth Alliance released the VR headsets almost immediately. The virtual world is open to everyone, and it has completely crashed the internet market. Shares in the company have been plummeting for the past month or so, and it crashed after the press conference. Although the company has temporarily suspended trading, it will plummet again once the suspension is lifted. Our market capitalization will fall below 1 trillion, Cheng Liwei said calmly. Many banks have frozen the family trust's assets and requested that we pay them back in advance. Our market capitalization will drop below 1 trillion. Cheng Zitong and Cheng Zihao knew that the situation wasn't good. The family trust owns 8.2% of the group's shares, which is less than 100 billion. How does it make it insolvent? Cheng Zitong asked. Dad, what about the other investments in the family trust? Our family is in the internet industry, and our family trust mostly invests in the internet industry. Under this impact, most of the valuations will be at a 20.3% discount, and some will die, Cheng Liwei said. The family trust originally had $900 billion in assets, with a debt of $300 billion. It was very safe, but these assets now are probably worth less than $200 billion. That little? Ching Zihao was dumbfounded. His good days were all thanks to his family trust and the Tiger Shark Group under his family's control. There's nothing we can do about it. The appearance of the virtual world isn't something that we mere mortals can resist. Qing Liwei shook his head and smiled. Funnily, I didn't hear anything about such a major development. It's obvious that the Earth Alliance doesn't care about the life and death of the internet companies. The Tiger Shark Group won't die. After all, our balance sheet is still very good, Cheng Zitong said. However, our family's 8.2% shares will probably be acquired by the bank soon. Don't worry. Your assets are completely isolated from our family trust's assets. Qing Liwei looked at his two sons. As the family trust's manager, I have to pay the price. However, the two of you are unaffected. You two should keep a low profile in the future. After all, the Qing family will be very mediocre without the Tiger Shark Group. Qing Zitong and Qing Zihao fell silent. It's gone. It's all gone. Qing Zihao's body trembled slightly as he looked at his father. Dad, you've given brother 5 billion over the years, right? However, you've only given me 2 billion. It's unfair. Zihao, this was all done according to the family trust's rules, Qing Zitong said. Dad, that's unfair. Qing Zihao looked at his father. Unfair. Qing Liwei looked at him. First, your brother is older than you. The family trust disburses its first sum of money when you reach 22. It is then handed out annually. You're young, so who can you blame for getting less? Second, the stronger the investment and management ability, the more the family trust will increase. Who can you blame if your investment ability is inferior to your brother's? Third, I was the one who wiped your ass for the shortfall you created. Billions were thrown in to fill the gap, and I even owed people favors. How did I let you down? But I have nothing. Qing Zihao looked at his father. I'm already bankrupt. What more do you want? Qing Liwei pointed at the door. Get lost. Qing Zihao looked at his father with red eyes. Get lost. Qing Liwei continued pointing at the door. Qing Zihao turned and left, leaving only Qing Liwei and his eldest son, Qing Zitong, in the office. Dad, Zihao is panicking, Qing Zitong whispered. Although you've given him 2 billion over the years, he's not good at investing. He probably doesn't have much left. He's panicking because he knows that he won't get any more in the future. Keep this in mind. Qing Liwei looked at his eldest son, Qing Zitong. From today onward, don't give your brother a single cent. Qing Zitong was stunned. Then, what if he starves to death on the streets? Let him starve then. Qing Liwei said coldly. Our Qing family is no longer the Qing family of the past, we can't afford to lose anymore. Yes, I understand, Qing Zitong said. In Qing Zihao's office. Bam. 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 Qing Zihao frantically smashed everything in the office that he could find. Old man, you're ruthless. Qing Zihao could only grit his teeth. Then, he gently touched his watch and said through gritted teeth, get the hell to my office, now. 10 minutes later, a middle-aged man with slightly moist hair came to the office. He immediately said, Boss, I was in the virtual world. I rushed over as soon as I received your message. Spill it. How much money are the companies I invested in worth? Qing Zihao asked. There's still more than 120 million in cash, the middle-aged man immediately said. The rest are investments in different sectors. How much are those investments worth? Qing Zihao asked. Many of these investments are angel investments, there's no way to pull out the funds anytime soon, the middle-aged man said. Some investments in the internet industry might go to zero. The virtual world's impact is too great. What I'm asking is, How much can the investments, ones that can be sold or mortgaged, be liquidated for? Ching Zihao asked. 100 million, the middle-aged man said after some thought. Barely. I invested 500 million, and that's all that's left. Ching Zihao was unwilling to accept it. The internet industry is in terrible shape these days, the middle-aged man said helplessly. Also, our three companies contracted many people and have so many employees. The monthly expenses are about 20 million, our cash can only last for about half a year. It can only be maintained for half a year. Ching Zihao murmured, his lips turning white. Thankfully, the big hole in the balance sheets was resolved by the chairman. The company is stable for the time being, the middle-aged man said. The last time the hole was filled, the chairman said that you aren't allowed to take external loans. I don't want to hear about him. Ching Zihao sat in the chair and wrapped his hands over his head. Get lost. I need to think about it. Yes, boss. The middle-aged man left obediently. My cash can only last half a year. The family trust is gone. Ching Zihao's eyes were bloodshot as he subconsciously pulled his hair. What do I do? What do I do? In the virtual world. Su Jingming had guessed that the Ching family would suffer, but he wasn't in the mood to pay attention to them. He was currently in the martial arts arena, in his personal space, experiencing the training functions of the martial arts arena. The martial arts arena was located in a canyon with verdant mountains and flowing waters. 3 bandits attacked Su Jingming from 3 directions. Su Jingming held a spear and waited calmly. When the bandits were 30 feet away, he immediately rushed to the right, straight for the saberman on the right. Die. The bandit grinned and pounced over. Pfft. The spear in Su Jingming's hand moved like a venomous snake leaving its hole, the spear tip poked the bandit's neck before retracting. The bandit's neck was penetrated, and he immediately dissipated. The 2 remaining bandits showed no fear and lunged over. Su Jingming only took a step back and tapped the spear tip twice. The 2 bandits suffered a strike to their hearts and glabella respectively, they then turned ethereal and dissipated. Sparring partners with a basic combat strength of 800 are indeed relatively weak. They only allow me to familiarize myself with my spearmanship. Su Jingming didn't find it difficult at all. His finger on distance and reaction time made his spearmanship seem like an art. He easily killed the virtual sparring partners in the martial arts arena. Buzz. Ha. Su Jingming tapped gently and saw a stocky middle-aged man looking over from the distant martial arts arena. The stocky man's eyes were like those of a tiger, and he had a terrifying aura. Master. Su Jingming was a little uncertain. Ha ha ha, are you surprised to see me become young? Lu Hai laughed. Congratulations, Master. The global martial arts world has guessed over the years that if you joined the World Martial Arts Tournament at the age of 30, you would probably be the greatest at the World Martial Arts Tournament. Now that humans are evolving, you can give everyone an answer, Su Jingming said with anticipation. Lu Hai was a legendary figure worldwide. At the age of 45, an age considered very old in the martial arts world, he was in a much worse state than when he was in his 20s. Lu Hai entered the top 3 for 5 consecutive tournaments since he was 45, and he even became world champion on his final showing. How strong was he at his peak? This had always been a guess. What's in the past is nothing, Lu Hai said with a smile. Jingming, there are only slightly more than 20,000 professional gladiators registered globally in the 30 years of professional martial arts competitions. 7 billion people are competing with more than 20,000 people. They won't be injured or get tired in the virtual world. They can choose any sparring partner and engage in life-and-death combat. Their growth will be more than 10 times faster than our training in reality. Professional gladiators like us still have an advantage for a month or 2. Half a year. In half a year, professional gladiators like us will be completely overtaken. Lu Hai looked at Su Jingming. But this is already the era that's most suitable for us gladiators. There has never been an era with so many gladiators. Yes. Su Jingming nodded. Everyone around the world was mastering this. When had weaponry combat ever been so popular? We have a good foundation to begin with. If we seize the opportunity, we can succeed. Lu Hai looked at Su Jingming. Jingming, don't let down this era. Yeah. Su Jingming's blood boiled. He also wanted to make a name for himself in this era. Oh right, have you reached divine? Lu Hai asked. Chapter 17. Preliminaries. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I haven't done the preliminaries yet, Su Jingming explained. I've been cultivating in the martial arts arena. Training hard is important, but so are life and death battles. Lu Hai asked, is your basic combat strength enough? It's enough. Su Jingming nodded and examined his personal combat strength interface. Player. Su Jingming Genetic Evolutionary Method. Heavenly Python Evolution, Intermediate 20%. 735 days of practice. No room for improvement, physique. 115 technique. Spearmanship, LV, 275%, footwork, LV, 216%, shield technique, LV, 262%. Basic combat strength. 1380. After all, he had practiced Heavenly Python Evolution for nearly 8 hours at the martial arts arena. He reached basic mastery after practicing it once and had reached 20% intermediate mastery afterward. After raising his body to its limits, he was naturally even stronger. After his body evolved, his strength, speed, and reaction underwent changes in all aspects. Therefore, Su Jingming also chose sparring partners in the martial arts arena and familiarized himself with his shield and spear techniques to ensure that he could unleash his full strength. Having enough combat strength is good. Lu Hai nodded. He also knew that the basic combat strength threshold for divine was 1000. If he wanted to rely on the preliminaries to enter the divine level directly, his basic combat strength needed to reach 1200. It was still very difficult. You didn't slack off on your shield techniques after you retired, right? Lu Hai asked. There were many teammates on the national team to act as sparring partners. My sparring partners were much worse after retirement, Su Jingming said, but I kept practicing a few times a week. Practicing shield techniques is very helpful in grasping one's physical strength, Lu Hai said. This needs to be done your entire life. You can't slack off on it. I understand, Su Jingming said. He had practiced spearmanship since he was a child. After he joined the national team, his master, Lu Hai, taught him shield techniques. His master's shield technique originated from the Taiji lineage. Quickly do the preliminaries. 31 people have reached divine, there are many hidden experts in China. Lu Hai sighed with emotion before terminating the communication. There are already 31 people. Su Jingming didn't hesitate anymore. He tapped his personal interface and headed straight for the combat space. When he first entered the combat space, he saw nothing. The cyan-shirt man appeared in the void and said, Su Jingming, welcome to the combat space. Your basic combat strength has reached 1380, exceeding the 120% basic combat strength threshold for divine. You can proceed with the preliminaries for divine. Would you like to proceed with the preliminaries? Yes. Su Jingming nodded. The combat space is divided into 5 environments. Town, forest, city, snowland, and ancient battlefield. Please choose one of these environments as your designated arena. Su Jingming thought for a moment and said, forest. Please choose your equipment, the cyan-shirt man said. You can carry at most 2 weapons. Moreover, you can't have any protective equipment on your head. Is the head the only thing that needs to be exposed? Su Jingming asked. Yes. Even if you are wearing heavy armor, your head has to be exposed. The cyan-shirt man nodded and said, this is a rule established in the virtual world game. Therefore, the head will be the biggest weakness in combat. You have to protect it well. Su Jingming nodded. He tapped lightly and started choosing his equipment. He had experimented many times in the martial arts arena, so he was very proficient. A set of light armor that clings close to my body without affecting my movements. Su Jingming selected his body equipment. After making the selection, he wore dark red armor and a pair of light and firm boots. A double shield with a diameter of 60 centimeters is a relatively light shield. Su Jingming carried the two shields on his back and reached out to choose a spear. A spear weighing 36 kilograms will be quite handy. Su Jingming held the spear. For his equipment setup, he had a set of light body armor and boots weighing 55 kilograms, double shields weighing 30 kilograms, and a spear weighing 36 kilograms. For Su Jingming, whose physique index had reached 115, it was indeed considered relatively light equipment. Heavy armor weighed hundreds of kilograms, and of course, they had stronger defensive effects. Those who cultivated black tortoise evolution and giant bear evolution were more suited for that kind of heavy armor. Let the preliminaries begin. Su Jingming nodded and got ready. 5 maps immediately appeared in the void in front of him. Then, he plummeted straight for the forest map. The mountain path was muddy after the rain. Su Jingming descended from the void and stood on the mud as he looked around. There were weeds under a large tree in the distance, and a sloppy man was sitting cross-legged on a clean patch of grass. He had a sword at his waist, and when Su Jingming appeared, the sloppy man looked up. Another one who isn't afraid of death, the sloppy man murmured to himself. He chuckled and slowly stood up. A cloth robe with only a sword. Su Jingming observed his opponent. He's wearing a cloth robe, but I'm wearing body armor. I also have a huge advantage when using a spear against a sword. He's at a huge disadvantage based on his equipment, so he might be very strong himself. If one was weak and had weak equipment, there wouldn't be a challenge. Since you have a death wish, I'll send you on your way. The sloppy man moved, his body turned into a blur as he moved extremely quickly and lunged at Su Jingming. Su Jingming stood still and waited calmly. The distance closed. Su Jingming was about to make a move while holding the spear's end in his left hand and the shaft of the spear in his right. Whoosh! The moment the sloppy man approached, his figure twisted strangely, and his sword flashed. Bang! The sword struck Su Jingming's spear, but the spear was like a flood dragon that had emerged from the sea. With a slight tremble, the spear shaft crashed into the sword with terrifying force, sending the sloppy man flying. The sloppy man's foot tapped the tree trunk beside him, and he somersaulted to land a distance away. His hand holding the sword trembled. He's fast and agile. Su Jingming looked at the man. I'm inferior to him in terms of movement. The sloppy man stared at Su Jingming and slowly approached the latter again. He also wanted to finish the battle with a single strike, but with a 3-foot sword and his arm, he needed to get close enough to stab Su Jingming. However, Su Jingming's spear was 2.6 meters long. The sloppy man would enter Su Jingming's attack range before he could even close the distance. This was the advantage of the weapon. The sloppy man had also been forced to attack Su Jingming's spear. He had to parry the spear to get close. Whoosh! The sloppy man closed in again. Clang! 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 He circled Su Jingming and moved at high speeds, thrusting as fast as lightning time and time again. His sword collided with Su Jingming's spear as he sought a good opportunity. His movement technique is better than mine, and his sword technique is quite good, but his equipment is terrible. Su Jingming understood this. A normal strategy is to rely on the advantage of my equipment to kill him. But, there's no need. When the sloppy man patiently made another probing attempt to seek out a good opportunity, the spear in Su Jingming's hand moved. Hiss. A strange wind howled. A blurry spear shadow tore through the air and even formed a shockwave. The spear tip had already arrived in front of the sloppy man. In his panic, the sloppy man swung his sword to block but failed. His throat had been stabbed through as the spear tip retracted. The sloppy man held his throat and collapsed. This is my ultimate move, Shadowless Thrust. You won't be able to block it once you enter my attack range, Su Jingming said softly. You're faster than me, but you're not as fast as my spear. After killing the sloppy man, the post-rain mountain forest began to dissipate, and Su Jingming returned to the void. In the void, a projection replaying the kill in slow motion appeared in midair. Su Jingming's spear was so fast that it tore through the air, and the shockwaves blasted to the sides. The spear tip stabbed through the sloppy man's neck, but the sloppy man only managed to swing his sword halfway. It was clearly much slower. Combat rating. 98 level. Divine. Moreover, Su Jingming's personal combat strength interface appeared, player. Su Jingming Genetic Evolutionary Method. Heavenly Python Evolution, Intermediate 20%. 735 days of practice. No room for improvement, Physique. 115 Technique. Spearmanship, LV, 275%, Footwork, LV, 216%, Shield Technique, LV, 262%. Basic Combat Strength. 1380 Combat Bonus. 20% Combat Strength. 1656 An additional bonus in actual combat. It also increases combat strength. Su Jingming came to a realization. No wonder it was called Basic Combat Strength previously. With the added bonus from actual combat, that will be one's full combat strength. Right, the timing and use of various factors in combat are also very important. Su Jingming knew very well. Congratulations on passing the preliminaries with nearly a perfect score. The cyan-shirt man smiled and said, I have another piece of news for you. It has been 8 hours and 36 minutes since the virtual world game was launched, and there are a total of 32 divine players in China. Su Jingming nodded. There were many people who were faster than him. There were indeed many talented people in China. Do you want to begin engaging in competitive combat? The cyan-shirt man asked. When players in the combat space fight, they will team up with 5 people and engage in a life-and-death battle with the other 5 in any one of the environments: mountains, snowland, city, town, and ancient battlefield. In a battle, you can queue up alone and get the game to match 4 teammates for you. You can also invite friends to team up with you before you engage in battle. Queue up alone. Su Jingming was puzzled. Queue. Yes, there are only 32 divine players as of now. Some are in the martial arts arena, some are watching a live broadcast, and some chose to queue before giving up their spots. It might take some time to assemble a team of 10, the cyan-shirt man explained. It's the first day of the game, and there are too few divine players. Queuing is very slow, but it will become much faster in 2 weeks. Then, let's begin queuing. Su Jingming's eyes were filled with anticipation. Those who can reach divine are no ordinary experts. Su Jingming pressed the battle button. A notification appeared: 6 people are ready. There are 6 people in the queue, the cyan-shirt man said. The battle will only begin when there are 10 people. How long will it take? Su Jingming asked. It might take some time. One of the 6 has queued for 2 hours, the cyan-shirt man said. There were also people in the queue earlier on, but they eventually gave up their spot. You can cultivate at the martial arts arena while waiting in line or watch a live broadcast. You can even go offline. Once there are 10 people, you will be immediately notified. You just have to come online in 3 minutes. Su Jingming nodded slightly. Put me in the queue. Once this battle begins, it will be China's first divine competitive battle, the cyan-shirt man said. China's first divine competitive battle. Su Jingming fell into thought. Chapter 18. Live stream. You are listening at novelfull.audio. On the virtual world spectator platform, hundreds of spectators were watching a live stream. Li Miaomiao was among them. She was focused and listening attentively. 70% of a swordsman's strength depends on your footwork. A man in jeans was teaching sword techniques on the training grounds. Now, I've virtualized a sparring partner with a combat strength of 500. With a whoosh, a bandit holding a cleaver appeared and charged over murderously. The sword is an extension of the hand. I just need to use my footwork to control the distance between the enemy and me. The man in jeans was like a phantom as he took a few steps back, causing the bandit's consecutive strikes to miss. The other party missed his first strike, so it will take time for him to strike again. This gap is the time for us to make a move. The man in jeans seized the opportunity when the other party missed. He took a step forward and thrust out his sword, and the sword stabbed into the bandit's neck like a venomous snake. He instantly retracted his sword and retreated, causing the bandit to turn ethereal and dissipate. A sword has many disadvantages among the assortment of cold weapons, such as being relatively short and lacking in strength. However, its advantage is its agility and speed. We need to maximize its advantage, the man in jeans explained. Whoosh! On the viewing platform, Su Jingming appeared and sat down beside Li Miaomiao. The viewing platform allowed one to join a friend in watching a live stream. Miaomiao, what are you watching? Su Jingming was in the queue, and having trained for 8 hours, he was tired. It was time to take a break. I'm learning swordsmanship. Li Miaomiao looked at Su Jingming and said, I practiced swordsmanship for 7 or 8 years as an amateur, and an expert like you has even taught me personally. I thought that my swordsmanship was good, but in this virtual world, my basic combat strength is barely 156 despite my best efforts. I can't even qualify for the preliminaries. I fought for more than 2 hours as a starry sky before maxing out the stars and advancing to 1-star silver moon. The moment I advanced, I lost 3 consecutive matches. Fortunately, this game doesn't drop our levels. I'm now a 0-star silver moon. Su Jingming nodded. Take it slow. There's no rush, it's only the first day. Most of the people here are newbies who are still at starry sky. Li Miaomiao sighed with emotion. The threshold for Radiant Sun is 400 basic combat strength, and Divine's threshold is 1000 basic combat strength. I lost 3 times in a row as a silver moon, sigh. Oh right, this live streamer, Song Yao, was a medal winner at the Olympics for the heavy sword category. He also participated in the World Martial Arts Tournament, Li Miaomiao said. The sword techniques he spoke about are quite useful. Song Yao is quite impressive. Su Jingming nodded. The man in jeans, who was explaining, swept his gaze past the stands and saw Su Jingming. He nodded slightly, and so did Su Jingming. He's already a 29-star Radiant Sunday. He has a 29.2 win-loss ratio at Radiant Sunday. His sword technique is very impressive, Li Miaomiao said. He should be one of the top few at swordsmanship among those who are live streaming. No divine players are live streaming. Su Jingming asked. There are, but none of the streaming divine players are good at swordsmanship. Li Miaomiao sighed. There are too few divine players these days. There are only 32 divine players in China, and there are only 3 who are live streaming. If we want to learn swordsmanship, we can only find Radiant Sun ones. Su Jingming opened the spectator platform and saw his friends who were live streaming. 125 of them were live streaming. Quite a number of your friends are live streaming, Li Meow Meow said in surprise. Professional gladiators also need popularity. The more popular one is, the higher the appearance fee, Su Jingming said. Many of my friends still need to manage themselves even after retirement, and many have participated in variety shows. There are nearly 1,000 professional gladiators among my friends list. To only have about 100 live streaming isn't much. Su Jingming scanned the live streams and saw Shuo. Yang Qingshua was doing a live stream of a battle. Su Jingming immediately tapped it and zoomed into the live stream. This is your good friend, Yang Qingshua, right? Li Meow Meow exclaimed in surprise as she looked at him. How impressive. Those who can reach Radiant Sun on the first day are all top professional gladiators. 32. Star Radiant Sunday. Even if he kept winning, he needed to win 31 consecutive matches. He's quite impressive. Su Jingming watched. In Yang Qingshua's live stream. On the snowy battlefield. We need to make full use of our advantage. For example, if I'm fast, I should find an opponent who's alone and defeat them one by one. Yang Qingshua wore leather armor and held a silver spear. He ran across the snow at lightning speed and went straight for an opponent who had a shield in one hand and a hammer in the other. As he ran, Yang Qingshua explained. His voice was loud enough for all his audience to hear him. Because he was a 32. Star Radiant Sun and had participated in the World Martial Arts Tournament, along with his explanations being quite interesting, Yang Qingshua's live stream was quite popular. It had more than 1,000 people watching. The muscular man holding the shield and hammer was tall and stout, but he was slow. He watched helplessly as Yang Qingshua chased up to him without being able to escape. Swish. 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 Yang Qingshua's figure was like a ghost as he circled the strong man for a few steps before consecutively thrusting out his spear a few times, producing afterimages. The strong shield and hammer bearer was also a professional expert, so he carefully raised his shield to protect himself. However, the gap between the two couldn't be surmounted. The fifth spear afterimage stabbed from the side, scraping the edge of the shield and piercing into the stocky man's head. The stocky man's figure then turned ethereal and dissipated. Beautiful. He took down a Radiant Sun opponent in a few strikes. How impressive. 32 wins and 1 loss, what a monster. He can carry an entire team alone. Yang Qingshua revealed his combat strength, and his combat strength has reached 970. The Radiant Sun threshold is 400, so very few Radiant Suns can stop him. The audience exclaimed in amazement, and people also tipped him enthusiastically. They tipped him with all kinds of gifts. Yang Qingshua was delighted when he saw this. At the same time, he said, in combat, we have to choose our opponent. For example, the opponent from before looked clumsy, but we are agile and fast. We can deliver as many moves as we want, but it's very difficult for the other party to touch us. Look, the one in the distance is using dual sabers. Yang Qingshua stared at his other opponent in the snow. He probably cultivates shadow leopard evolution like me, but his speed is inferior to mine. His 2 sabers are shorter than mine, so it's very easy for us to finish him off. We have to take advantage of the period before the other party's team gathers together and defeat them one by one. In the late stage of the match, our team will have the numerical advantage and can easily win. Yang Qingshua quickly ran over. Su Jingming was pleased when he saw this. Sure, you found your calling. You can earn money from live streaming. My friends from all over the world are working hard. Su Jingming watched one live stream after another. He wasn't sure about those who weren't live streaming, but all his live streaming friends were in combat. He had also joined the queue to fight. But as the match was at divine level, it was a little difficult to make up 10 people. Meow Meow, where are the live streaming divine players? Su Jingming asked. Here. Li Miao Miao was very knowledgeable about the available live streams, so she quickly pinpointed 3 people. BL.net 3 of the live streams had the same scene. In the void of the combat space, there was only a notification. 7 people are ready. There's a live stream, but the person isn't around. Su Jingming laughed. You can set the live stream to broadcast the combat space, Li Miao Miao said. Those who have reached divine by now did so through the preliminaries. This means that their basic combat strength is at least 1200. All of them are monsters. Many world martial arts tournament contestants are unable to attain it. Su Jingming nodded and looked at the live streams of the 3 divine players. Panda Zhangqian, Sharpshooter Wang Yi, Goddess of War Sun Yuting. Su Jingming read out the 3 people's names. They were very famous. Li Miao Miao also said excitedly, in the past, the World Martial Arts Tournament had always been a stage for men because of the difference in the physiques between men and women. But now that women also have suitable genetic evolutionary methods, they no longer suffer any disadvantages physically. A woman became a divine player on the first day. Sharpshooter Wang Yi. She was an archery champion at 3 Olympics and is a monster in the field of archery. A divine archer will be very terrifying. Su Jingming nodded. Among cold weapons, archers posed a huge threat. Goddess of War Sun Yuting was champion of 2 women's world martial arts tournaments. However, the popularity of the women's competitions is much less than the World Martial Arts Tournament, Li Miao Miao said. Now, she can truly prove herself. There are also fewer female professional gladiators than men. Su Jingming nodded. They suffer from lower popularity and generally have low income. This was very normal. This was because the World Martial Arts Tournament didn't restrict women from participating in battles, but women were indeed physically disadvantaged. At the highest levels of the World Martial Arts Tournament, men shined the most. With the genetic evolutionary method, a woman's physical talent is no less inferior to that of a man. Li Miao Miao pointed and said, of the 3 live streaming divine players, 2 are female players. The ratio makes it obvious. Yeah, what's that? A pinned live stream. Li Miao Miao was surprised. Su Jingming also saw that a live stream on the spectator platform had been pinned. China's official live stream. Su Jingming and Li Miao Miao saw the name. Let's go and take a look. The 2 of them entered with a tap. Whoosh! As the only live stream pinned on the spectator platform since the virtual world's launch, a large number of viewers kept pouring in. The viewing stands were infinitely wide, 2 million, 5 million. More and more people came in. Su Jingming and Li Miao Miao also came in. They sat and looked into the distance. Zoom in. With a light tap, the live stream in the distance zoomed in. 3 people sat in front of the podium. This is China's official live stream channel. The host was a top host who often hosted official events, Lu Xian. Beside her was a middle-aged man and woman. Lu Xian smiled and said, "Today is the first day of our official live stream. The 2 people beside me are the head coach of the national martial arts team, Huang Yong, and the female team's coach, Qin Yiwen." Huang Yong and Qin Yiwen waved their hands. "Hello, everyone. Our live stream has just begun, but the number of viewers has already exceeded 10 million. Lu Xian smiled brilliantly. Just one smile of hers could go viral on the internet. Mainstream media treated her like a treasure. Therefore, she was made the host of China's first official live stream in the virtual world. This is our first broadcast, and the live stream will be following China's first divine battle that will shortly begin. Lu Xian said. Chapter 19. China's official live stream. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 19. China's official live stream. As they spoke, the number of viewers in the live stream increased continuously. Li Miao Miao was surprised. The virtual world was launched 9 hours ago. Everyone is a little tired, be it from practicing the evolutionary methods or fighting. However, there are many people watching the live stream. The official live stream exceeded 30 million viewers in such a short time span. This is the only pinned live streaming channel on the spectator platform after all. Su Jingming also saw the number of viewers constantly jumping. At this moment, in front of the commentary platform, the host, Lu Xin, continued, based on the information I have, nobody in China has exceeded 40 star Radiant Sunday. And Radiant Sun maxes out at 50 stars. Therefore, those who can reach Divine now had to do so through the preliminaries. It means that their basic combat strength is at least 1200. That's very difficult, Huang Yong said. From what I know, ordinary professional gladiators now only have a basic combat strength ranging from 200 to 300. Top professional experts in Division A competitions generally have combat strength ranging between 500 to 800. Those who can enter the World Martial Arts Tournament generally do not exceed 1000. What kind of standard is 1200? That's the threshold for someone who has the potential to become a martial arts master. Huang Yong smiled. From my point of view, the 33 divine players are either famous professional martial artists, legendary figures from other pugilistic schools, or folk wonders. Folk wonders. Lu Xian exclaimed in surprise. There are many hidden talents among the common folk, Huang Yong said with a smile. Before my master, Lu Hai, participated in the first World Martial Arts Tournament, who knew he was so powerful? There are also many female experts, Coach Qin Yuan said. Half of humanity consists of men, and the other half are women. Of the 10 evolutionary methods now, women also have 5 evolutionary methods, and their bodies aren't inferior to those of men. It's within expectations that women will take up half of the divine spots in the future. I'm also looking forward to the battlefield where experts from different domains compete, Huang Yong said. Lu Xian suddenly said, the number of viewers in our live stream has exceeded 100 million. At this point, 33 people in China have reached Divine. The first Divine battle already has 8 people in line. I believe it won't take long for it to begin. Before we begin, let's talk about the Divine experts participating. First, it's the 3 people who have started live streams. Panda Zhangqian, Goddess of War Sun Yuding, and Sharpshooter Wang Yi, Lu Xian said. Coach Huang Yong must be very familiar with Zhangqian. For Panda, or Old Zhang as I call him, he's the #1 influencer in the martial arts circles. Coach Huang Yong smiled and said, he previously had more than 50 million fans on the internet. People call him Martial Arts Kaleidoscope. His tri-point double-edged halberd is definitely at the level of a martial arts master. The female team coach, Qin Yuan, said, many people have doubted his strength on the internet because he has never participated in the World Martial Arts Tournament. However, he has proven himself by reaching Divine on the first day of the virtual world's launch. Many people find it unbelievable that an influencer in the field of combat can reach Divine before so many professional gladiators, but Zhang Qian did it, Lu Xian said. I'm looking forward to his performance in this Divine match. In the stands, Su Jingming and Li Miaomiao also noticed the popularity of the live stream. The audience numbers have exceeded 160 million. Li Miaomiao exclaimed in surprise. That's insane speed, Su Jingming said. News spreads by word of mouth. Once the battle begins, more people will enter. After all, it's the first Divine battle in China, Li Miaomiao said. Su Jingming looked at Li Miaomiao and smiled. Miaomiao, I'm also in the queue for this first Divine battle. Li Miaomiao was taken aback. Divine battle. Jingming, you're in the queue too? Li Miaomiao asked. You're one of the 8. Yeah. Su Jingming nodded. Jingming, can I take a look at your personal combat strength interface? Don't worry. I won't spread it. Li Miaomiao's eyes lit up. Su Jingming tapped his finger, and the information appeared. Player. Su Jingming Genetic Evolutionary Method. Heavenly Python Evolution, Intermediate 20%. 735 days of practice. No room for improvement, Physique. 115 Technique. Spearmanship, LV, 275%, Footwork, LV, 216%, Shield Technique, LV, 262%. Basic Combat Strength. 1380 Combat Bonus. 20% Combat Strength. 1656, wow. Li Miao Miao turned extremely excited as if she had seen a pile of jewels. It's only the first day, yet your evolutionary method has reached the intermediate level. Your basic combat strength is 1380, which is a lot higher than the divine preliminaries requirement of 1200. Even a tiny fraction of yours is much higher than mine. A 20% boost in actual combat. What the hell? My actual combat boost is 0%. Li Miao Miao stared at the interface and then looked up at Su Jingming. Jingming, I've watched so many live streams, and many streamers have disclosed their combat strength interface. This is the most exaggerated one. There are still stronger ones. After all, there are 33 people who reached divine on the first day, Su Jingming said. Jingming, you're going to be famous. When the battle starts, the 10 of you will definitely receive a lot of attention and fans, Li Miao Miao said. I knew that your future would be 1,000 times better than in the past, but I never expected it to arrive so quickly. This is only the first day of the virtual world's launch. It's only been 9 hours on the commentator stage, the female coach, Qin Yiwen, said. In a common environment where cold weapons are used, sharpshooters will pose a huge threat. I believe everyone will see sharpshooter Wang Yi's performance later. Other than Panda Zhang Qian, sharpshooter Wang Yi, and Goddess of War Sun Yuding, Coach Huang and I also know of 2 divine experts participating. They are, Bizarro Twin Sabers Master Dong Su and, Miao Blade Heroine Lian Shuang, Qin Yiwen said with a smile. I heard from my friends, and senior brother Dong Su personally gave me this scoop, Coach Huang said with a smile. Senior brother Dong Su is already past 50 this year, and he is a martial arts master of the older generation. He also got the bronze medal at the 11th World Martial Arts Tournament. He produces endless changes with his Bizarro twin sabers, and many world experts were defeated by his twin swords. Miao Blade heroine Lian Shuang is also our national female team's coach, Qin Yiwen said. Many male team members have asked her about the usage of the Miao Blade, Huang Yong said with a smile. To reach divine on the first day has also proven her strength. 9 divine experts are ready. Lu Xian suddenly said excitedly. We are approaching this monumental moment. We are only 1 person short of 10, this divine battle will begin at any time. The number of viewers in the live stream was also rising continuously, having exceeded 220 million. Suddenly, Lu Xian, Coach Huang, and Qin Yiwen became excited. All 10 are in. Lu Xian's voice rang out. The first battle between divines is about to begin. Su Jingming, who was sitting in the stands, also received a notification. All 10 people are ready, the battle is about to begin. Su Jingming, please prepare your weapons and equipment. Miao Miao, the battle has begun. I'm going over, Su Jingming said to his girlfriend. Go, go, Li Miao Miao urged excitedly. Su Jingming disappeared with a whoosh. Dad, Mom, hurry over. Li Miao Miao immediately contacted them. Uncle, Auntie, Grandpa. Jingming is participating in our country's first divine match. Join China's official live stream channel immediately. Second aunt, third aunt, fourth aunt, uncle, quickly join the official live stream. Old classmates, the first divine battle is beginning. Are you watching? Sister Kong, Xiaozhen, help me forward the news. Get people to join the official live stream channel. Li Miao Miao kept summoning her friends in excitement. Your mother and I were already here. Li Qinan and his wife came to their daughter's side. Miao Miao. Su Hong, his wife, and Grandpa Su arrived. Mrs. Su said immediately, you said that Jingming will be participating in the first divine battle. Look up ahead. It's starting. Li Miao Miao pointed at the commentary platform in front of her. On the curved commentary platform, host Lu Xian, commentator Huang Yong, and commentator Qin Yi were all looking at the combat space that had appeared. In the combat space, there were 5 people on the left and 5 on the right. They had already started choosing their weapons. All 10 divine experts have appeared. The team on the left consists of Hercules, Gao Chong, Bloody Axe, Wang Qiao, Miao Blade Heroine, Lian Shuang, Goddess of War, Sun Yuding, and a 97-year-old senior named Lu Jianfeng. I don't think I've heard of this senior in the martial arts circle. Lu Xian was a little surprised. She could only see everyone's name and age, but she didn't know anything else. Of these 5, the other 4 were famous, only Lu Jianfeng was unknown. Huang Yong and Qin Yiwen, the 2 national team coaches, also revealed puzzled looks. The 2 of them knew many people in the industry, but they had never heard of this name. It's impressive that a 97-year-old senior can become a divine player on the first day, Huang Yong said. Lu Xian continued, the 5 people on the right are sharpshooter Wang Yi, spear demon Su Jingming, legendary boxer King Wu Sai, Bizarro twin sabers Master Dong Su, and Panda Zhang Qian, who we are all familiar with. Chapter 20. Drizzling Town, Divine Battle. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Su Jingming tapped into the combat space and saw his 4 other companions. His 5 opponents were standing opposite him a distance away. Little Su. A short-haired, middle-aged man smiled at Su Jingming. Senior brother Dong, Su Jingming greeted politely. The middle-aged man in front of him was Bizarro twin sabers Master Dong Su. He was also Lu Hai's disciple, but he was much older than Su Jingming. Our team sure has a nice mix. Brother Dong Su and Jingming, the 2 of you are veterans of the martial arts arena. The chubby panda Zhang Qian was the #1 influencer in the martial arts industry and had a lot of connections. Wu Sai is a world-class boxing champion of 2 classes. As for Wang Yi, she doesn't need mentioning, the goddess of current-day archery. Hello, everyone. Wang Yi smiled, she was a woman of few words. I've never fought in martial arts before, so please forgive me. Boxer King Wu Sai was very muscular, and he spoke with a smile. We boxers use dual shields because it's easier to pick up. When the time comes, I'll be the vanguard to fend off the other party's attacks. I use a tri-point double-edged halberd, Zhang Qian said. I also use concealed projectiles. Dual sabers and concealed projectiles, Master Dong Su said. A spear and dual shield, Su Jingming said. Bow and arrow, Wang Yi said. Panda Zhang Qian was delighted when he heard that. Very good. Jingming and Wu Sai both use shields, so our team's defense is much stronger. After all, the other party has Hercules Gao Chong. Gao Chong. Su Jingming, Dong Su, Wang Yi, and Wu Sai all turned solemn. Of the 5 people in front of them, who caught their attention the most was Hercules Gao Chong because he had obtained first place in the World Martial Arts Tournament. The Martial Arts Alliance had given him the title of Hercules. Please have one team member choose a weapon and equipment. The virtual game voice sounded. Equipment selection is done in alternating order, Panda Zhang Qian explained. One person on our side will choose before 2 people on their side chooses. Following that, 2 people on our side will choose, and the other side will have 2 choose. Finally, 2 people on our side will choose before a single person on their side chooses. This is because both parties can see each other's weapons and equipment, so they can choose targeted weapons and equipment. I'll be the first to choose. I only know how to use dual shields. Boxer King Wu Sai quickly donned armor and held two shields. The number of viewers in China's official live stream rapidly increased as the competition began. There's already 380 million people, and it's still rising. There are so many people, Su Hong exclaimed in surprise. Both parties are choosing their weapons and equipment, Lu Xin said from the commentator platform. Wu Sai is a world-class boxing champion of two classes. He's famous for his footwork and evasion, as well as his heavy punches. He chose dual shields. On the other side are Hercules Gao Chong and Bloody Axe Wang Qiao, who have both selected their weapons and equipment. Gao Chong chose heavy armor, it's estimated to weigh at least 300 kilograms. Head coach Huang Yong sighed in surprise. Even in the virtual world with everyone's bodies having evolved, wearing 300 kilograms of heavy armor still isn't a small burden. Gao Chong is the world champion of the 22nd World Martial Arts Tournament. He is famous for his extraordinary strength. From his physique that has become even more muscular than in reality, he should have practiced giant bear evolution, which is known for its strength. His strength should have reached an even more terrifying level, Qin Yiwen exclaimed in surprise. Moreover, with his spearmanship, the threat he poses is very high. Bloody Axe Wang Qiao first appeared in the 12th World Martial Arts Tournament, and he came in second at the 15th World Martial Arts Tournament, Huang Yong said. The last contestant, the 97-year-old senior, Lu Jianfeng, chose a sword. Of the 10, he's the only one who chose a sword. Goddess of War, Sun Yuding, has decided on a shield and sword combination. In melee combat with cold weapons, just having a single-handed sword puts one at a disadvantage. Lu Xian was surprised, but she immediately said, "All right, the 5 people on both sides have finished choosing their weapons and equipment. Coaches, any bets on which side will win?" "The team on the left," Huang Yong said. Goddess of War Sun Yuding and Bloody Axe Wang Qiao both use shields and weapons, making them suitable for direct frontal attacks. There's also Hercules Huang Chang's frontal charge. Lu Jianfeng and Miao Blade heroine Lian Shuang are speedy and can carry out sneak attacks and assassinations. Of course, the most important thing is, I think highly of Huang Chong. I'm optimistic about the team on the right because it has our sharpshooter. She's the only sharpshooter out of the 10, Qin Yiwen said. Boxer King Wu Sai and Spear Demon Su Jingming both use dual shields. Su Jingming had also used dual shields in the World Martial Arts Tournament. His dual shield techniques were imparted to him by his master, Lu Hai, after he joined the national team. He is very talented in shield techniques and has also used his dual shields to defeat his opponents in the World Martial Arts Tournament. He's still very skilled, Huang Yong added. The 2 shield-bearers can protect sharpshooter, allowing her to freely unleash hellfire, Qin Yiwen said. I'm optimistic about the right team's chances in this battle. Best of luck, Jingming, Grandpa Su shouted excitedly. They always praise Gao Chong, but they don't talk about Jingming, Mrs. Su said. Of these 10, Gao Chong is probably the strongest, Mr. Su said. Being an industry insider, he commented, he did very well in the competition back then. When others compete, they need to use all kinds of wit, but he just runs rampant in the match without hiding at all. He literally charged his way to world champion. When Gao Chong retired, his master, Lu Hai, commented that when it came to spear dominance in China's martial arts circle, Gao Chong is number 1. Don't toot the horn of the enemy. Grandpa Su glared at him. It hasn't even started, and you're already cowering. In a competition, there's only one thing, fight. Su Hong immediately smiled obsequiously. Dad, you're right. Jingming has the ability to become world champion after his leg recovers. At the very least, he can equal Gao Chong. Yes. Grandpa Su looked at the combat space. I'm most curious about that old guy named Lu Jianfeng. He's 97 years old, and he reached divine on the first day. Uncle, do you know this senior Lu Jianfeng? Li Miao Miao asked. I've traveled the world and visited all the schools domestically, but I really don't know him, Su Hong said. However, his surname is Lu. Jingming's master is Lu Hai, and in his hometown, every member of the Lu family in Jiabikang County practices martial arts. Many also have the surname Lu. The battle has begun. Li Miao Miao looked at the combat space. China's first divine battle in the virtual world begins, Lu Xin said loudly. The battle map for this match is the town map. It was drizzling in an ancient town. The 10 people were scattered around the town. Su Jingming wore dark red light body armor, held a spear, and had a pair of shields on his back. He appeared on the second floor of a restaurant. Miao Blade heroine Lian Shuang and senior Lu Jianfeng should be good at assassination. We have to rendezvous and protect our sharpshooter, Zhang Qian said through the team chat. Of course, brother Dong Su can act alone. All right. The 5 members of the team didn't have any objections. Through the map, they knew their teammates' locations. Swoosh. Su Jingming went down the stairs of the restaurant and exited from the back door. The rain fell on his face like strands of silk, refreshing him. Su Jingming stuck to the wall and carefully walked forward, his ears carefully listening for any movements. Meanwhile, the thin master Dong Su, who practiced shadow leopard evolution, wore leather armor and moved like a ghost. He held 2 sabers as he traversed the alleys in search of prey. The other team's 5 members had already reached a consensus. Senior brother Wang Qiao, son Yuding, you guys rendezvous with me first. Lian Shuang and Grandpa Lu Jianfeng, you can move about freely. It's best if you can kill the sharpshooter at the start of the battle, Hercules Gao Chong said through the team chat. The battle has just begun, so everyone is scattered across the town. It's the best chance for me to assassinate the sharpshooter. Miao Blade heroine Lian Shuang's figure turned blurry as she whooshed up to the roof. She then walked carefully and searched for her target from above. Lu Jianfeng was thin like a monkey. He hung his sword at his waist, and in a few turns, disappeared from sight. What speed! In the live stream, Lu Xin, Huang Yong, and Qin Yiwen had all noticed Lu Jianfeng. Huang Yong even said, among the members of both teams, Dong Su, Lian Shuang, and Grandpa Lu Jianfeng are probably good at movement speed, but it's obvious that Grandpa Lu Jianfeng is the fastest and most agile. Whoosh! 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 Grandpa Lu Jianfeng traversed the town and occasionally stopped to take a look. Once he made a move, he would appear in the distance before disappearing into an alley with a few steps. Lu Jianfeng suddenly stopped, his ears twitching, and he carefully walked to a room in an inn. He quietly watched from the window and saw a figure walking carefully not far away. It was Su Jingming. Grandpa Lu Jianfeng has discovered spear demon Su Jingming. Huang Yong shouted immediately. Su Jingming hasn't sensed it yet. He's in danger.